In today's news, August and King awarded CHEVENING scholarships. Royal Virgin Islands Police Force issues apology for Monday's traffic delays. And the Christian Concern sheds light on the impact of same-sex marriage on overseas territories. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, Keon August and Cedric King of the British Virgin Islands are the recipients of the 2023 CHEVENING scholarships. The two were officially announced as the recipients during a special ceremony held at the Government House, which was also commemorating the 40th anniversary of the CHEVENING scholarship. August will be pursuing a Master's of Science in Organizational Project Management at Bournemouth University, reflected on the journey which led to him applying for the scholarship.
I'm proud to be here, My journey didn't start today. My journey started 3 years ago when I completed my undergrad. I said, it's over, what next? A master's wouldn't be that difficult. Why not, undertake the challenge? So when I saw the email came out through the government email, I said to myself, this is an opportunity to advance the public service as we see it. And who better to start with than the person in the mirror, according to Michael Jackson. So here I am today, a recipient going forward to better myself so that I could come back and better the public service, as we go forward into, into the 21st century now, because we're in 2023. So that's where I am right now.
King will be studying for a Master's of Science degree in cybersecurity at the University of Bradford. He said it was his second time applying for the scholarship after being shortlisted on his first attempt.
I know Brittany Smith, she was an awardee. She received a CHEVENING award, I think like 5 years ago, and I saw what happened to her and the opportunity that she was given, and I was like, why not? She was a classmate of mine, and I just felt like the scholarship was there for the taking. I mean, why not? I feel a lot of people don't know about the scholarship, so I feel like that's why a lot of people don't apply. So I was like, hey, do it. The first year actually was a reserve candidate, and it wasn't really thoughtful or whatnot. So I said I'm gonna apply again, and I did it, and I received the scholarship. So like I said before, I'm very thankful. I'm just ready to hit the road.
Providing a brief history of the scholarship was His Excellency Governor John Ranking, CMG, who spoke on the prestige of the program.
CHEVENING scholarships are the United Kingdom's government's flagship scholarship program. The program is funded by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and it's a global program operating across the world. It was established in 1983, and it's for 1 year of master's degree studies in the United Kingdom. The scholarship covers all fees, accommodation, living costs and travel, so it's a fully funded scholarship. And it's aimed not just at those with the academic ability to carry out master's studies, but in particular, it's aimed at those individuals with demonstrable potential to make a difference, to become future leaders, decision makers, and opinion formers.
The governor also spoke on the rigorous selection process and highlighted the significance of having 2 locals selected from the approximate 60,000 people globally who applied for the scholarship.
The CHEVENING selection process is hugely competitive. There were over 60,000 applications submitted for the scholarship for 2023-2024. And only around 10% of the applicants worldwide even make it to the interview stage. So it is hugely to the credit of the talented people here in the British Virgin Islands that last year 2 persons from this territory were selected as CHEVENING scholars, namely Akila Harrigan and Kirsten Letson. Kirsten is with us here this afternoon following her studies in education at University College London. And this year, I am very pleased to announce that we again have 2 young people from the Virgin Islands who will very shortly be going to the United Kingdom as CHEVENING scholars.
Education Minister, the Honorable Cherie B. De Castro, congratulated both August and King on the achievement and said her ministry supports any initiative that promotes continued studies among Virgin Islanders.
Truly, you have an opportunity of a lifetime. I've spoken to previous CHEVENING scholars who have spoken about how exemplary the experience is and how much it has gotten them to the point that they are today. When you hear from the upcoming speakers, you'll understand the impact that they would have, the impact that this opportunity would have made on them. And I believe that you will come next year, just like Ms. Letson, who I'm happy is back. And I'm happy to say that she's now the head of the science department at the Elmore South High School. And when we consider the professions and the degrees that you're going to pursue, it speaks very much in line with moving full steam ahead: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And so I look forward to, once you've studied, coming home and really being a voice for moving full steam ahead and encouraging other young people to get involved in cybersecurity and to get involved in organizational project management.
Up next, viewers, we have more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctvvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Looks like Johnny's ex-girlfriend finally found my car.
You've got CG. You're fine. I'll never forget the year those monkeys stole my car. They drove it over a cliff, burned the seats, and carved the words pineapple banana smoothie into all the doors. And that was after they used it for the bank heist. I don't blame them. It's their favorite smoothie, and I refuse to share the recipe.
No deductible for theft, malicious damage, and more. CG Insurance. Good like that.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has issued a public apology for the traffic delays experienced on Monday morning in the vicinity of the Elmore Stout High School after residents took to social media to voice their discontent with the long traffic lines. According to the police, the delays were due to the temporary traffic rerouting, which was placed for the resumption of the 2023-2024 school year. In a statement to the media on Monday, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force said, and I quote, "We understand the inconvenience and the need for further assessments to bring about a much smoother flow of traffic where the public will be informed prior to any proposed traffic implementation. We appreciate your understanding, cooperation, and feedback. Your safety remains our top priority." The Ministry of Education also issued a statement on the matter, revealing that officers were unaware of the adjustment to the traffic in the area. In recognizing the said, the ministry officials were unaware and no public advisory was issued. The ministry immediately contacted the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force to ascertain why the traffic adjustments were made. It added the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has since notified the ministry that this matter has been addressed. Senior officials from the overseas territories and the United Kingdom will be meeting in the BVI from September 12th to the 14th to discuss illicit finance and ways to combat the global issue. Deputy Premier and Minister for Financial Services, Labor and Trade, the Honorable Lorna Smith, OBE, made the announcement during a recent sitting of the House of Assembly. She said the aim of the meeting is to engage in open dialogue which will be guided by principles of transparency, financial integrity, and a collective commitment to addressing illicit finance through enhanced cooperation.
Members may recall that the establishment of a ministerial level dialogue aimed at addressing illicit finance was agreed upon during the joint ministerial council between the UK and OTs earlier this year. This senior officials meeting marks an important step leading up to the joint ministerial level dialogue between OT governments and the UK, scheduled for November.
Honorable Smith also provided further context of the importance of addressing illicit finance, stating that OTs and the UK, which operate as significant global financial centers, face common challenges that will only increase as criminal enterprises continue to become even more sophisticated.
The partnership between the UK and OTs offers a platform to address shared challenges, particularly in governance and sustainable development. In today's world where money flows across borders with ease, it is important for partners to come together to address these challenges collectively. Some of the overseas territories and the UK are significant global financial centers, which means that we share common risks and interests in protecting our financial sectors from threats posed by illegal movements of money across borders. Criminal networks are becoming more sophisticated in exploiting stable financial systems for illicit financial flows. It has therefore become crucial for countries to collaborate, share expertise, and find more effective ways of working together.
Highlighting the value of the exchange of notes arrangements between the UK and OTs, the Deputy Premier said the meeting will also aim to build on the existing achievements to further strengthen the integrity of the respective financial systems.
It will include sessions focusing on strengthening technical capabilities to address areas such as sanctions implementation and enforcement, countering the financing of terrorism, and anti-money laundering. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that the dialogue participants encompass a range of economies, each with their own unique characteristics. Therefore, commitments and objectives will need to be tailored to each member, ensuring that agreements are suitable for the specific circumstances of each jurisdiction.
Officials from the governments of Anguilla, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the United Kingdom are expected to be present in the territory for the meeting. while representatives from the governments of the Falkland Islands and St. Helena will participate virtually. Now, the meeting will be co-chaired by UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and the Government of the Virgin Islands. Viewers, up next, we have more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
At VI Motors, we've got it. All your vehicles, we've got it. All your auto parts, we've got it. Everything you need, we've got it. We've got oil, it's stock. We've got batteries, it's stock. We've got tires, it's stock. Even brakes, yes sir. Yes! VI Motors, pioneering the automotive industry in the Virgin Islands since 1966 with leading brands like Toyota, Chevy, and Honda. We even do custom orders. We have all the top brands in automotive parts as well, so you know you're getting quality. Come visit us at Duff's Bottom, Tortola. Go to our website at vimotors.com or just call us at 494-2496. Remember, VI Motors, we've got it. All your vehicles, we've got it. All your auto parts, we've got it. Everything you need, we've got it. We've got it.
That's out.
That's 6.
That's out.
With great service and fast claims response, we're like a home match that isn't played at your actual home. CG Insurance. Good like that.
My turn. Oh, come on, guys.
Looks like Johnny's ex-girlfriend finally found my car.
You've got CG. You're fine. I'll never forget the year those monkeys stole my car. They drove it over a cliff, burned the seats, and carved the words pineapple banana smoothie into all the doors. And that was after they used it for the bank heist. I don't blame them. It's their favorite smoothie, and I refuse to share the recipe.
No deductible for theft, malicious damage, and more. CG Insurance. Good like that.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Premier of the Virgin Islands has called upon the people of the Virgin Islands to voice their opinions on the matter of same-sex marriage, while stressing that legislators should be obligated to heed the wishes of the populace. A referendum has been considered by Wheatley as a means to fortify the BVI's position against potentially forced legalization of same-sex marriage within the territory. In an exclusive interview, Andrea M. Williams, the founder and CEO of Christian Concern, shared her take on the impact of same-sex marriage on overseas territories. Williams is one of two councils who represented the BVI Christian Council and is firmly against recognizing the marriage of two local women.
It's happening all across the world, and indeed it's formed for the past 20 years, in a sense, very much of my work as a lawyer within the United Kingdom. And what I'm seeing happening in the British Virgin Islands is exactly the kind of thing that has been happening not just in Great Britain, but across countries in Europe and indeed across the world. You mentioned that this couple in the British Virgin Islands, these two ladies, Kirsten and Kanisha, that they in fact took a marriage license under the Same-Sex Marriage Act in the United Kingdom. They took a marriage license in 2019. They didn't actually, they spent one day, I think, it was something like that, after gaining that license before returning to the United Kingdom. And actually it was their marriage was then deemed retrospective because they had had a civil partnership a number of years earlier, which they also gained from the United Kingdom. And they've come back to the British Virgin Islands where same-sex marriage is not lawful, and are now asking for their marriage that took place in the United Kingdom to be recognised within the British Virgin Islands. But of course the marriage that was made in the United Kingdom is not something that is recognised here in the British Virgin Islands, because still your law says that marriage is a lifelong union between one man and one woman.
The news of the referendum first surfaced in December 2022 when the Premier addressed the public regarding the ongoing legal decision before the High Court. The case involves a same-sex couple, both Virgin Islanders, who were married abroad and subsequently sought legal recognition of their union within the BVI. Should the court decide in favor of the couple, the decision could invalidate Section 13 of the Matrimonial Proceedings and Property Act, which currently stipulates that marriage is valid only between a male and female. Williams spoke on the arguments of cultural colonialism and arguments related to the Constitution of the Virgin Islands.
Something that we've said, and something that's very clear, I mean very clear when we come here to the BVI, is that you're an island, your cultural identity is very distinct, and indeed you're very different from Great Britain. And there's a sense in which if ever there were a case of cultural colonialism, of this notion that somehow progress is to extend marriage to two men and to two women, and this is something that must be accepted because it is a fundamental human right, that every person has a fundamental human right to be married. Well, that's an argument that the Christian Council wants to firmly resist.
She also addressed arguments relating to the fundamental rights of freedoms of an individual.
The truth is this: there's not, in law, there's not really across the world, in terms of legal philosophy, there's not a fundamental human right to be married. There are many reasons why people are unable to marry. Perhaps they don't meet the right person, for instance.
Correct.
But the truth is this: for then the whole of the definition of marriage to be redefined to extend to two men and to two women is to undermine the very nature of marriage itself, which in a sense pre-exists law. We've got to remember this phenomenon of it being a right for two men or two women to be married is something that's very recent.
Okay.
The whole of history and the whole, certainly of Western culture, certainly the whole of culture around the BVI has always been clear that marriage is between a man and woman. That's been firmly understood within the law, but also it pre-exists the law.
Okay.
And the state only has an interest in it because it's a public good.
In her opinion, Ms. Williams adamantly shared that this is no way in a deprivation of rights of an individual.
It's not the deprivation of a right if there isn't a fundamental right to marriage. The truth is this: no one is saying to these two ladies or to two men, you can't have a relationship. There's a sense in which the state doesn't have an interest in this, but it does firmly have an interest in what defines marriage, what is good for what is marriage, what is good for society, what is good for the raising of children, what is it that we need to protect.
And who decides what is good?
Well, there we are. Who decides what is good? If you end up with a whole series of laws or human rights that say, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, you end up very often with a conflict of rights. So what we've seen in the United Kingdom, for instance, now is a situation whereby same-sex marriage has become legal. And then those who say, for instance, that I am unable in conscience to provide over a civil ceremony of two men or two women, they then are forced out of their jobs. Teachers that say that marriage is between a man and a woman may find themselves disciplined. We have chaplains in schools being reported to our terrorism organisation because it's said that they discriminate because they simply say that marriage is between a man and a woman. And indeed, next week in our courts, a social worker who has posted on social media his belief that marriage is between one man and one woman has been deemed to be unfit to be a social worker unless he affirms LGBTQI ideology.
Additionally, she shared that this matter is a groundbreaking time for the BVI and residents will have to choose.
Essentially what you have here is a situation whereby English law is being imported, or a challenge is being made, strategic litigation is being made in this territory to fundamentally weaken an institution which is marriage.
Okay.
So this is strategic litigation which is being brought in order to bring this question to the fore within your society, and in a sense to put pressure on the government. So the UK government is applying pressure to your assembly in order to change marriage, in order to change the fundamental meaning of marriage. So it's something much bigger than just the human rights of two individuals. This case is brought because they were unable to get a joint lease for a car, a joint loan for a car, and that's how this whole thing started, in terms of saying my rights are being denied because my same-sex marriage is not being recognised in this particular jurisdiction.
Now, there are persons who would essentially say that with us, just like the couple is saying, being a UK territory, outside of the same-sex marriage issue, there have been a number of other aspects that have been seemingly imposed on us, and we have not, like we're doing with same-sex marriage, had a conversation. So is it just the marriage aspect that we're having a problem with? Because the UK does quite a bit on overseas territories. We can go through the list of their impositions, but those are not discussed.
This is absolutely fundamental to the whole of your society and how it operates. This is not just about the rights for two individuals. It's about fundamentally the structure of family within your law.
Understood.
Because as soon as this is opened up, in terms of how family is then defined in your law, it's not just about marriage, it's not just about rights and the defining of marriage and rights. It then becomes about how family is structured, who is able to adopt, who is able to foster, who is able to access fertility treatments, the very structure of family itself. It then becomes something that is promoted as a social good, promoted within the schools. All of this becomes a norm. And there's a sense in which your constitution says that we're a nation under God, we're a nation that believes in God, that we are there for the well-being of the people in this territory. And there's a sense right now in which your territory is going to choose. Do we choose God? Do we choose that God that we have known in the BVI? Do we choose the Christian framework which we have held on to within the BVI? Thank you for mentioning that. The Christian framework. Is this something that we hold on to, or is it something that we let go? And so you are at a turning point, I would say, in the life of this particular territory. And that's really critical. Will you be a group of people that goes the way of the West, that goes the way of Great Britain, where we have seen, in a sense, not the freedom that the supposed giving of rights brings, but rather a massive conflict and a suppression of freedom of speech, freedom of expression. This very last week, there have been 4 or 5 high-profile cases in the United Kingdom where bank accounts have been removed or frozen from organisations which refuse to promote, refuse to celebrate, and that's all I can say it is.
Understood.
LGBTI lifestyles and ideology.
Premier of the Virgin Islands, Natalio D. Wheatley, has emphasized that such a ruling had the potential to disrupt the social and religious fabric of society. In response to the legal challenge, the government of the Virgin Islands has expressed its intent to vigorously defend existing laws and uphold the authority of the democratically elected legislator in making decisions on matters of this nature. Wheatley firmly stated his belief that issues of social and religious significance should not be decided in the courts. For the full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Happy Tuesday. Goodbye.